We're just normal men.
What do you mean, normal men?
We're just innocent men.
Welcome to the RedAssPodcast, your home for Aggie sports, barbecue, music, and much more. And now your hosts, Rob White and Roy May.
Howdy, guys. Welcome back to the RedAss Podcast. Today is Wednesday, September 24th. I am Rob White, fighting Texas Aggie, class of 2014.
I'm Roy May, fighting Texas Aggie, class of 2015.
Yep. And we are back to work this week.
Yeah, the bye week is over, and now the real season starts, right?
Yep. SEC play kicks off this week for A&M. We're already a little in the hole on that because Ole Miss already has 2 SEC games played. And we're finally getting into our slate here. One more non-con late in the season against Samford, but the rest of the slate is just going to be boom, boom, boom SEC starting this weekend against Auburn.
Yeah, with the kind of unique slate, to be honest, with 3 at home and then 3 away plus a bye. We're home for a month, but then we're gone for a month kind of thing.
Yeah.
But, one thing I know, like can be debated ad nauseum, but, talk about being on a bye week. And we talked about this before Notre Dame, how they were on a bye week. And would you rather have been able to play, or would or is the rest, do you benefit from the bye week? And I think it's a different situation for us because we're not coming off a loss.
Exactly.
We're coming off of 3 wins, 2 of which that were, kind of your cupcake type games.
Yeah.
But then that huge win on the road at South Bend, physical game, right? Really physical game. So I've said it before, I love where both of our bye weeks fall actually this season. And this one, gives Marcel time to probably recuperate a little bit. He took some shots.
Yeah.
It was a physical game. So, let the defensive front 7, recuperate a little bit. And then also you have an extra week to fix some things, right? Because
Absolutely true.
there's still there's still some issues with defense. We gave up 33 to Notre Dame, but that's a good Notre Dame team. But you're still seeing, kind of the big play stuff. And this week you've got a challenge of dealing with Cam Coleman, who's
Yes.
an absolute freak. I thought the Auburn OU game showed us a lot. I can't believe John Mateer's hurt.
Somebody made a really, really interesting point about that. Not just about Mateer getting hurt, which is obviously awful. We hate seeing that, and it's a hand fracture. Or I guess a break in the hand. I'm not sure what it is, but there's a bone in the hand that was the issue. But looking back at our friends across the way over in Austin, so since they have been in the SEC, 8 of their first 11 SEC games are going to be against backup quarterbacks. What kind of hex are they doing in that hex rally? Because my God, it's absolutely insane looking back at the numbers. Yeah, the only starting quarterbacks they've played against were Carson Beck, Diego Pavia, and Taylon Green. Everybody else was a backup at some point. So upwards of 73% of the quarterbacks they have faced were not the primary starters in their games.
Yeah, it's pretty bonkers the luck they're getting.
But sometimes it's better to be lucky than good sometimes.
Yeah, but it's just uncanny.
It is.
I guess it's not that bad of an injury. I mean, they're talking about a month of recovery max, so it's something incredibly minor.
Well, and Bryce Anderson's in that same boat. I mean, apparently his turnaround's looking okay. Like they're not too worried about him. Plus, who was it? Was it Fathery or somebody else is potentially coming back? Maybe this weekend or next weekend.
I think it's Fathery.
Yeah,
They said he was progressing well, so I think
that's
that sounds
good.
yeah.
That's excellent news.
So we get revenge game, right? From last year.
Absolute revenge game this week. Yep.
Yeah, when number 15 went to Jordan Hare and managed to blow it in 4 overtimes, and you win that game, and you're probably in the playoffs.
Well, bare minimum, you're at least getting a shot at it with the SEC title game. you
Yep.
know. So yeah, this is absolute revenge game time, and I think that was something that was on the mind of a lot of fans. I'm sure it's well within the minds of the players too, because they understand what this game was last year and how important it was.
Yeah, and I learned a lot about Auburn watching that game against Oklahoma.
Yeah,
Their defense is good. Cam Coleman is a freak, and Jackson Arnold assumes that he has 6 seconds to throw the ball. Um,
yeah. Pocket
that
presence was
his pocket presence is poor.
not very good. I mean, 10 sacks in the
Yeah,
modern game.
yeah, that's literally video game numbers.
Yeah.
That's yeah, that was
Bobby Boucher level numbers.
yeah. There you go.
He goes and get them, you're like,
Yeah, he has poor pocket presence, and it looks like he has no idea how to run through his progressions.
sure.
Now he can run,
No question.
so he can get after it, but I have a lot of confidence in this game. I'll just put it that way. Um,
Sure. Yeah, you like to think that our defensive line, you'd think our pass rush is probably going to get some love there. You have to assume, of course, that Auburn is going to make some adjustments on that front. Like, hey, 10 is completely unacceptable. We got to work on that. So I highly anticipate we're going to see quicker passes, but I think you have to create some chaos there on the line. You got to put them in a kind of a rough situation.
well, it's easy to say quicker passes, but unless they specifically scheme for it, um,
Right.
and and honestly, Cam Coleman is not a guy you want to be just throwing to in the flat and let him produce. He's the guy that you want to be able to take the top off the defense.
Right.
I'll be interested to see whether it's Des Ricks or Will Lee or just a combination of that. Maybe
Yeah.
sliding the safety over to help. Um, I'll be interested to see how we line up defensively because Auburn's not a team you have to stack the box against. They're not the most amazing running team on the planet.
No,
Um,
their top rusher had 61 yards last
yeah,
week. Granted, very good, very, very good Oklahoma defense. But
yeah, yeah. OU's defense is fantastic. There's a reason they're in the. I think they slid up to 10th, didn't they? Or no, they jumped us.
they
That's right.
jumped us. They're like number seven.
Yeah, yeah. OU jumped us, and they beat a team that maybe is number 22, maybe wasn't. I'm erring towards more they weren't, but they beat them by a touchdown, and the SEC officiated admitted that they gave them a touchdown.
Well, what's funny is that that play was used against us with Ole Miss, I think a couple years ago.
Yeah, it's been outlawed.
Yeah, yeah. It was an illegal play that they pulled there, no question. And not to mention, there were multiple instances of SEC officiating getting in the way of Auburn potentially getting ahead in this game. So I'm not saying that this is what's going to happen, but it would not shock me to see some makeup calls this week at our expense.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
yeah. I think that's a little BAS flaring up.
a little bit, but we've seen it before, you know.
Yeah, in this game, the horse collar on Johnny and
Don't even get me started on that.
another Auburn game that would have put us in the playoffs. Because what if they call that, we'd have been inside the 10 with like 17 seconds to go.
Yeah, we win that game. And we're largely looking pretty good on the back end of the season. Yeah, you still have to go to LSU. Yeah, you still have to go to Ole Miss. But by winning that Auburn game, you have a lot more to fight for. Because at that point, you have one loss, and that was to number one Alabama, and it was a freaking absolute air raid of a game.
Yeah,
So, I mean, what do you do there?
yeah. The Auburn series since because it's what eight we're 8-7 against them.
It's pretty balanced, and weirdly enough, for those who remember, the early portion of this rivalry was largely if you were on the road, you were winning the game, and then it flipped.
Yeah, yeah. It was always the road team that won. I remember I was there when Auburn fumbled the ball, late in the game. Uh,
2014.
yeah, fumbled the snap. Uh, that was a thrilling win.
It was a great win, and that was oh God, who started quarterback? Because that was after Kenny Hill. Who was in there? That was our kid from Arizona, who ended up transferring out. Was it Kyle Allen or was it?
Kyle Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the game. What Miles Garrett blocked the field goal,
Yep. We
and
ran it back at the end of the half,
Rashawn ran it back. Yeah, yeah, that
and
was
then had held on for dear life in the second
yeah,
half.
yeah. That was it was a stressful game. I'll put it that way. But
No
but yeah,
doubt.
that was a memorable trip.
We've had some great games with Auburn. I mean, some
Yeah.
really, really good high stake games, and I think Saturday's going to be no different. I mean, yeah, we're gonna have moments. It's probably going to get a little hairy because that's SEC play,
Well,
but
and that's this series too. Us
yeah,
against all
yeah, yeah.
weird things happen.
Weird things happen between the two, land grant schools between Alabama and Texas. It just gets a little goofy.
Yeah. So, like talking about the game and just kind of the game script,
Sure.
Auburn, they like to control the clock.
Yeah,
I think they're averaging like almost 32 minutes a game of time of possession. Yeah. But we have turned into explosive play
sure.
so do those kind of mesh together to where we have explosive plays, but they end up controlling the clock? And how does that play out relative to the game? If they hold on to the ball a good bit,
Right.
I mean they're running against it. Or, are they just picking up small chunk plays? It's hard to figure out what the game flow is going to be like on this one.
Yeah, it should be very interesting to see how it plays. I mean, we've seen that we can move the ball well, and we've done so against a pretty stout defense last time around. So you gotta like our chances to take advantage of those plays. We just need to have in our mindset get off the field on defense, force those third downs, critical third down stops. And once again, I'm going to emphasize it because we failed miserably last week, last time we played. Penalties have to be at a minimum in a game like this. You have to do yourself a lot of favors. Don't put yourself in a position where you can potentially get a call. Be smart.
Well, and Auburn's defense is good. The
They
run.
are.
Yeah, I mean that was a really good OU offense, and they didn't light up the scoreboard by any means.
No.
Um, so can we take advantage of the plays when they're there, right?
Right.
Uh, commit to a run game. They're saying they want to stack the box and force Marcel to beat you. I don't think that's a real great game plan.
No.
Because then basically you're saying can Craver and Concepcion beat us? Yeah, they can.
They can. And the funny thing is, if you look at what a lot of Auburn fans are saying, they're just looking at the stats that are on the page right now. They're like, we have to make Marcel Reed beat us because their running game ain't going to do it. And I'm thinking, our running game is averaging 5 yards a carry. They're not getting a ton of carries, but they are moving the ball. So, I mean, don't key off necessarily always on that passing game because it could come back and bite you. Because we got some
Well, yeah, that's
damn
that's the
fine
flip
people.
side of it. I mean, remember what was it? UTEP or
Hmm.
UTEP? I mean, they stacked the box,
Hmm.
and so I mean, we didn't really run the ball,
Yeah,
but we also didn't
UTSA.
need to. We didn't have to, and there was no reason. You don't run into a stacked box all day. That's not how you win football games.
No,
And Utah State stacked the box a little bit,
sure.
so why not just throw the ball? Fine.
Right. Force them to play our game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so our rushing stats aren't great, but I think, like you said, looking at the yards per carry is probably a little bit better uh, perspective
Sure.
as opposed to how many yards we're rushing for per game, because we know damn well that our running back room is stout.
Yes.
And I think the question with our offensive line is it run blocking? I think it's, can they handle Auburn's pressure on the quarterback without having to max protect, right?
Right.
So can we just in base protect Marcel and give him time to throw?
Yep.
Because if we can do that, this it might be a long day for Auburn, quite frankly.
It could be. And I mean, so if we're looking across, the matchup here, let me just scoot ahead to this week. I had their game pulled up here. But yeah, we advance a week. A&M sitting here, we're like what 7.5 point, 6.5 point favorites now, according to
I
ESPN.
got 6.5. Yeah.
6.5. So largely, even on a neutral field, they're liking A&M's chances. Matchup predictors really liking us in this game too. I mean, if you look across the board, Arnold's been a solid quarterback, right? I mean, he's 69 of 101 passes, 5 touchdowns, no turnovers. That would be something I would like to change in this game. Let's see if we can't force an interception, force fumbles, get after him on the turnover margin if we can. And for me, definitely want to see that wide receiver core get after that defense for sure.
Well, when it comes to Jackson Arnold, I mean, and I didn't really watch a whole lot of Auburn before the OU game, but he doesn't have picks because he doesn't throw. he gets happy feet. He doesn't go through his progressions.
Sure.
I mean, I know that's what Auburn's played 4 games, right?
Yeah, they play 4 games. They're 3-1. The one loss being to
Yes.
Oklahoma.
Yeah. So you're averaging what, 25 attempts per game?
Sure.
So that's not much of a that 25 pass attempts a game is not a lot
No.
to average that. And so I think a lot of that, him not throwing picks, is because he gets spooked back there and he just won't let go of the ball. Like he's not going to throw it if he doesn't think the window is perfect.
Which fair enough. But by creating really good coverage, forcing him into situations where he's having to move around, create that pressure. Let's see what happens. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about this game. It's gonna be a fun one, I think.
Yeah, you don't want Jackson Arnold beat you with his feet. I thought
Yeah.
OU did a good job of not only not providing him windows to throw in, and however he was doing his progressions,
Sure.
but then also, for the most part, containing him and not letting him go for 150 yards, kind of
And
thing.
excellent film from Oklahoma. Thank y'all for that.
Yeah, right.
Just show us how to shut that down.
Yeah, I'd love to get home this week. I mean, 10 is a dumb number, and there's no way that they're not going to make corrections. But I'd like to see 2 or 3 sacks this week.
Yeah, just create a little chaos in that backfield. Even if you're not necessarily getting home, just by forcing him to move around is going to create lower percentage chances to move the ball downfield.
Well, lower percentage throws.
Yeah,
And lower percentage throws are generally either incomplete or interceptions.
exactly. Important to have. So
Yeah,
excited about that.
the most important thing, honestly, is going to be doing everything you can to contain Cam Coleman because it's like it doesn't matter what you do. He's such a freak.
He's a very, very talented.
Yeah, I'll be really interested to see what we scheme for him.
Yeah,
And then, obviously, you got to love Kyle Field. Coming off that Notre Dame game,
it's gonna be
the
hype.
old man has had 2 weeks to stew and get ready for this.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be a raucous environment.
2:30 in the afternoon. Yeah, good prime time slot. For
The weather's going to be nice. Got a cold front coming in today.
I know I'm kind of the best present I could have asked for was having a little cold front coming through. In fact, I'm watching it on radar now, and you can see the outflow boundaries are moving in. The line's coming in. It's going to start raining this afternoon. Ooh, it's warm. We're kind of in that warm bubble right now. As soon as that storm comes through and that big line pushes through, it's going to be nice, cool air on the backside, a little drier. Oh, I've
This is
been
your weather
waiting for
report
it.
from the RedAssPodcast. Um,
Favorite,
well,
favorite.
I saw, yeah, the low on Friday is supposed to be 64.
It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be cool at night, chilly. You might want to break out a hoodie if you're going out to midnight yell.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Ooh.
that'll be hoodie weather in the 60s.
Yeah, 60s and 50s, especially for all these thin-blooded weenies in this part of the world. Oh, we hit a 6 on our number. Let's throw on a jacket. Like I'm not wearing a jacket inside right now. But hey, I gotta poke fun where I can.
So, and here's a question for you. And obviously, we haven't played any conference games yet.
Sure,
We've only played one quality opponent, quite frankly. But from what we've seen, and considering the two kind of lesser opponents, how many points we gave up, even though some of that was on the back end with second and third stringers, you
sure.
know, are we good enough to win shootouts in the SEC, or are we going to live and die with our defense?
Well, that is a hell of a question. So, I mean, let's say you take away the one turnover at the start of the game against Notre Dame, you're winning that game fairly comfortable, right? I mean, probably. Granted, I don't know. I feel like if you got to get those key stops, I think that's the most important thing with these shootouts, right? I mean, you want to limit damage as often as you can. But I mean, regardless, people are going to go out there and score in that case. So I guess we're going to learn a lot about this defense this week against Auburn.
Yeah, as much as I'm talking crap about Jackson Arnold, he's not terrible by any
No,
means. And if you give him open lanes, he will let the ball fly.
yeah,
Like, I mean, obviously, they're 3-1, right?
Auburn's going to score some points in this game. That much I
Yeah.
don't have any doubt of. The question is, can we limit the scores? I think if you can hold them under 20, I'll feel like a happy camper. And as long as we're scoring, 30, 40 points in this game like we've been doing, if we're doing that and we're holding them under 20, that is a very good sign for me.
Yeah, for me, it's obviously, I say this every week, getting off to a hot start, right?
Right.
Um,
We haven't
for
done
me,
yet.
it's when if when Auburn drives the ball down the field, turning those sevens into threes.
Yes. That's a big one.
That's how you
Field
win a
goals.
shootout. That's how you win a shootout is make sure you're getting in the end zone. But on
Force
the
field.
flip side of that, even if they drive the ball, like just keep them out of the end zone.
Yeah, limit the damage.
Yeah, just try and minimize the damage on a couple of their scoring drives because, like you said, they're going to score.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
much
this
I
is.
have no doubt.
I mean, it's the over under is 52 and a half, so you figure we're at 26. So they're basically saying this is going to be about a 29 to 23 game, 30 to 23 game. Is pretty much what they're
Right.
saying. Um, and so they're expecting Auburn to score as well.
Yeah.
I think if you keep them at 20 or below, this is Ag's win.
Yeah.
Um, they get to 30, and that's when you start it gets a little hairy, and you start talking about shootouts. And I don't
Sure.
know that I'm necessarily big on having to win games, you know, shootouts. Like
No, because it
at
comes
least, at
down
least
to potentially one drive where if you just
yeah.
didn't happen to score on that one drive, that's what tanks you. And we don't
Or
need that.
or your seven turned into a three.
Right. Those are
Absolutely.
those are big deals. So
All right, let's talk battered Aggie syndrome real quick. If we drop this game, finish the sentence. Like if we lose to Auburn, so coming off the Notre Dame game, we finally quote unquote by Coach Elko kicked in the door, turn around, open SEC play, favored over an unranked SEC team at home. If we drop this game, what's the narrative? Finish the sentence.
well,
Like, how will you feel?
it'll be about the same old, you know. It's like you're gonna assume that people are gonna go, well, that's A&M for you, right? Like that's normal. Like you go out, you have yourself a big win, and then turn around and have a disappointment. And on top of that, coming off of bye week too, that is
Well, and
never
that's where I think that, and that's where, and yeah, I'm going to pick the Eggs to win, but that's where I think the bye week is helpful. You don't have that emotional letdown on the back end,
right,
because that was an intense game we played in South Bend. Like
right.
it only was a physically taxing, but it was emotionally taxing. So you have a week to kind of get right, also mentally heading into this game.
Yeah. Sorry. What was the question? I was having to answer something a little back and forth with Carson here.
No, that was it.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, you like I, I like our chances to win this game. I really do. I think we've got our, you know, every the model's liking us. Generally, the thought process is there. It's just you got to go out there and execute. You got to prove this is your opportunity to build upon the foundation you laid with that Notre Dame game. This is your chance to start putting up some walls, and then we can start working on the interior of this house until finally it's built up and it's this big, beautiful thing at the end of the season. That's what you want. Last thing we need is a storm coming through and knocking down the boards before we even have a chance to get them set.
Yeah, this is an we're kind of at an important juncture, right?
Sure.
Coming off the Notre Dame game where we proved that we could finally do it. Now we need to prove that we can sustain it.
Yes, that's
And
important.
and starting in conference play at home, you got to win at home. You got to protect Kyle Field.
Yep.
So this. I'm not going to say this is as important as the Notre Dame game, but this is a really big one as far as perception of the program is concerned. I think
Okay.
it falls directly in line with the thoughts of us not getting it done on the road, because then it's also they fall apart late or this or that or they drop one they shouldn't drop. And this is kind of one of those. I feel like this is one of those like we shouldn't drop.
Right. I mean, looking ahead at the next three home games, all three of them are largely looked at. I think we talked about it on the schedule ahead of time. These are three winnable, and we should win games between Auburn, Mississippi State, Florida. I think you got to sweep those three. No
This
question.
is yeah. Well, you want to protect Kyle Field at all costs, but
Exactly.
also you look at who you have to play on the road. This is by far the easier part of the schedule, even if it was
It
on the
is.
road. I
It
mean,
is.
even if our way and home the next six were flipped, I would still say that these are easier.
Oh, no
Uh,
question.
Mizzou is salty, LSU is LSU. So it's
And Arkansas is gonna want to do something, regardless of how the rest of this season pans out. And I'm sure we'll get into all of that. But
well, I will say, our man, Arkansas. It's possible that by then Arkansas is kind of thrown in it a little bit.
they could be potentially. I think a lot of it's going to depend on one does Sam Pittman get the axe in the middle of the season? And two, how much are they going to rally around themselves?
Yeah,
Because who is their offensive coordinator again?
yeah, the guy trying to steal his job publicly.
Yeah. Hmm. Not necessarily the guy I want to face with nothing to lose a lot of the time, and it's going to be on the road. So I think all three of those games are potential pitfalls. So you need to do yourself a favor right now and start winning games. And you need to do it loudly.
Yeah, yeah, Arkansas. Yeah, that's always a tough game. It's always a goofy game. I mean, hopefully it just won't be anymore now that we're done with Cowboy Stadium.
Yeah,
Um,
thank God.
yeah, some of that maybe that had to do with I don't know.
It could be a lot of things. I don't know. I said
I
you went to the game in 13.
yeah,
You were there. I was there. I thoroughly enjoyed going to Fayetteville. I thought it was a lot of fun. But yeah,
Naples a great trip. It just the
sure.
traffic in and out sucks. They have like one road basically.
Yeah.
Takes a million hours to get out of there, but
Mhm.
it's a fun little stadium.
Yeah.
It's nothing that I would consider intimidating.
No, I mean, even with Johnny, I think it got loud like one time when Johnny got into the face of a defender. It got particularly loud, and then Mike Evans scored immediately. And we were like, there you go.
Yeah, they're an easy crowd to shut up. But Arkansas and Florida are interesting because neither of them may have their head coaches when we play them.
Yeah, that's a
Uh,
very real possibility.
but Arkansas would have Bobby Petrinos, just waiting in the wings for it. But Florida doesn't have anything threatening. So if Florida comes in without Billy Napier, I mean, maybe that's an upgrade. I don't know.
Well, and potentially minus DJ Lagway.
Yeah, in a walking boot. So it's those two games are like their situations with their programs are interesting, but
Yeah.
one may be an upgrade, whereas the other probably won't be.
Yeah.
So, all right.
All right.
Yeah. And don't forget last year, Cam Coleman had 7 catches for 128 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
We got to do something about that. You got
Absolutely.
I think if you can hold him under 100 yards, this is an easy win.
Yeah. So limit his impact, get after the quarterback, create a
Yeah.
little chaos, rely on rely on the 12th man to create a little chaos themselves. Go out there and put one on them. That's
Man,
all we can ask for.
we made Peyton Thorne look like a Heisman contender that day.
Yeah, I know. I don't.
Peyton Thorne of all people.
Yeah.
All right.
Life's moving on. We're moving on. We're moving on to picks from last week. We're gonna go ahead
Yeah.
and move into that.
Yeah, we both sucked. We both went 2-3.
Yeah.
Tech went to Utah and proved that they're for real.
Yeah, and the rest of their schedule's not exactly looking too crazy, so
Well, this was one that if Tech wanted to be taken seriously, they had to win this one.
they had to, yeah. On the
They
road
had-
at Utah, and it was a defensive matchup for the first three quarters, and then Tech ran away.
yeah, they ran away with it. So I'm impressed with Tech right now.
Yeah.
Granted, now they just have to go through the Big 12 slate, which is
Not much to it right there this year.
Auburn and OU. We talked about this game at length. We both picked OU, got that one right.
Yep.
Indiana, Illinois. Man, was I wrong. I thought Illinois was good, and I thought Indiana was a paper tiger. Indiana smoked Illinois.
I would say that was the complete flip. Indiana just absolutely took it to them. I mean, 3 touchdowns in the second. I mean, they had 2 touchdowns per quarter minimum, and then they had 3 in the second.
What was it, 63-10 or something like that?
63-10. And the fact that Illinois is still ranked, like that goes back to the AP poll thing. Like they hadn't played anybody. You're number 9 and you lose by 53 points and you're still ranked. The AP is broken.
Yeah, you ain't lying. So I got that one wrong. Michigan on the road in Nebraska.
Yeah.
Yeah, I picked Michigan. I was shocked that I was right. But
Well, and from this day forward, I will no longer be picking Nebraska for anything because somebody pulled up a really interesting stat, which is that they are like 0 for whatever against ranked opponents right now.
I believe it. What's weird is I think we all thought that Matt Rule was building something there, and then this was just kind of like this was their opportunity to really for them to kind of kick down the door a little bit.
A little bit,
And that Michigan offense is bad, man.
they are not very good.
Not very good. Then the final game was UNT Army. Army staged a fantastic comeback, only to fall short in overtime. So we both went 2-3. You are now 10-12, and I am 12-10.
All right. Not too bad. I'll take it for now. We'll just keep
I
on.
would be barely above water financially were I putting money on these picks.
Yeah, thank God. Yeah, it said once again, do not come to us for financial advice on this podcast.
Yes.
We're kind of throwing them around, having fun. All
All right.
right.
So I saw a post on X somewhere. I think it might have been Blaine Crane said, "This is the weekend where somebody asks you to go to a wedding. Don't."
You know, there's some great games this weekend. There really are some really tight lines across the board. I'm excited for this week. There's so many good
Yeah.
looking games. We're finally into real full on conference play for most of these teams. It's time to put the rubber to the road.
Well, and as you say that, the first one we're going to pick is a non-conference game.
Love that.
Number 22, Notre Dame on the road at Arkansas. Notre Dame is a 3.5 point favorite in this one.
This one has some very, very interesting vibe to it because you're having Arkansas, who just came off of yet another heartbreaking loss via a fumble. And somebody put together like this clip of the famous Arkansas fumbles over like the honestly the past like 30 years. The amount of times they've lost a tight game off of a fumble is staggering to me. Yeah, we talk about curses in A&M. There is some kind of Indian burial ground stuff happening in Fayetteville. I don't know what it is, but it's bad. They have struggled.
Yes, some of those to us.
Yeah.
I'm sure we made the clip here or
Oh,
there.
we made the clip multiple times. I mean, the Oink Doink was in there, multiple
Yeah.
fumbles. I
The
mean, I
strip at the strip at the goal line that he
stripped the
handed.
goal line that got handed off and ran to the touchdown. Yeah.
That was still one of the goofiest things I ever seen. Handed the ball off. That was great.
Hey, you know what? That was a heads up play, and I'm really glad they did it.
Yeah.
So obviously from for my sanity, I need Notre Dame to win this game because I need Notre Dame to prove themselves that they are worth a damn. I mean, yeah, they gave up a lot of points to Purdue. They still won comfortably,
They did.
but
Yeah, I was kind of surprised how many points they gave up, but they still it wasn't a tight game.
and the thing we've learned about Arkansas is they do get off to a hot start. That's something they're very good about. They've done it. You know, Taylor Green's been excellent. I mean, he's got 4 picks, but I mean, 12 touchdowns, already over 1,000 yards passing, 1,100 yards, almost 1,200 yards passing. I mean, guys cruising.
Yeah, he's playing really well.
Yeah,
That's
so
a weird matchup to me,
it
just
is.
like the helmet wise. Notre Dame and Arkansas. Like it just feels weird. Is me?
Yeah, I mean, well, especially considering they already played one SEC team this year. They're going to throw another one in there. You're going on the road to this one. Man, this is a very interesting matchup. We know Jalen Green can sling it, and we know that Notre Dame's defense has a hard time stopping a dynamic passing game because they couldn't really handle ours. So, what do
So
you think?
I just pulled this up. We call it Winsipedia.
Yeah,
They've never played each other.
which is fascinating considering who their head coach has been at some point, Lou Holtz.
That's crazy. They've never played each other. Huh.
Huh? We learned
It's
something
a
today.
fantastic side by side program. Yes, it's hilarious. The only thing Arkansas leads in is conference championships.
Well, naturally.
The conference.
Yeah, Notre Dame doesn't have a conference. So, but if Notre Dame did, they would largely have that over them too, I'm sure.
Listen to the disparity between these two programs.
I love
National
Wikipedia.
champions, and it's going to go Notre Dame to Arkansas every
Right.
time. National championships, 11-1. Bowl games is even. Wins all time, 963 to 749.
Oof.
Consensus All Americans, 110-25.
Ooh.
Heisman winners, 7-0.
I didn't realize Arkansas didn't have that Heisman winner.
Weeks in AP poll, 890 to 432.
Oof.
Weeks at number one, 98-1. These two programs are not the same.
They're not the same program, but this game is its own beautiful flower. And how ironic would it be if Arkansas turned around and won the one matchup that they have had?
All right, well, who you got, man? I know who I got. I mean, 3.5 on the road. That means neutral site. They'd really like Notre Dame.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, so and the other side of this is Arkansas is an absolute shambles right now. So I mean, the question does become, can they put it together against Notre Dame? I think it's a good fight. I think they're going to be competitive. I think Notre Dame wins.
I don't think it's going to be tight.
I think it will be.
I think it'll be tight maybe early, but I think Notre Dame is going to walk away with this game. Like
Then they
second half,
very well might.
I think Notre Dame will pull away.
Right. And also, it's an 11 o'clock start
Yeah,
on the road. That kind of
advantage Notre Dame because the fan
right. They're not
11
drunk enough
a.m.
yet.
Yeah, 11 a.m. atmospheres suck.
They
All right,
do.
so Notre Dame.
Notre
Big
Dame.
one, white out up in Happy Valley. Number 6, Oregon goes on the road to number 3, Penn State. Penn State is a 3.5 point favorite, which means on a neutral field, this is a coin flip.
Yeah. So I'm going to be pretty quick on this one. I think Oregon wins this game, and I don't think it's particularly close. Penn State is completely unproven to me. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be a night game. It'll be Happy Valley. Should be a lot of fun. Should be a great atmosphere to start the game, but I see Oregon silencing them very quickly.
I'm gonna go the opposite direction.
Okay.
Far West Coast, traveling all the way to the East Coast to play a
Sure.
game is always tough. The NFL showed us that.
Sure.
Uh, it's obviously not an early kick, so that's not a huge
No,
change for them. But I think Penn State's good.
I think
Uh,
they're a good team, sure, but I just think they're unproven. I would like to see them.
Earn their ranking.
Yes,
I think this is where
absolutely.
they earn their ranking. I think this game is an absolute thriller. I think it goes down to the last drive. And I like Penn State at home in that environment, so I'll take Penn State.
Fair enough. And you know me, like I said, I'm kind of a pocket Penn State guy. I've appreciated their fan base. I really do. I mean, like I said, we talked about it. About
Oh, I can't stand Penn State. I just think they're going to win.
fair enough.
Next up, number 17, Bama at number 5, Georgia. There's another 3.5 point line. Georgia's favored. I don't know, man.
So remember this game last year. Remember how I picked it last year.
I do not.
I picked because Alabama was largely looking absolutely rough, and they did completely after this game. But I said something about this game tells me Alabama still has that air of authority over Georgia. And I was right. Alabama won that game. As far as this game, that is a tough look, right? Because Georgia's coming off of a bye week, Alabama's coming off of a bye week. It's on the road. It's a blackout in Athens. It's gonna be a raucous night. What time do they have that game going even? Oh, 6:30 p.m. So yeah, I mean we're talking night game. Should be rocking and rolling. And Simpson has looked pretty darn good against Wisconsin. I think maybe the kick up the rear that they needed came against Florida State because they've largely looked a lot better since.
Georgia's defense isn't as good as they've been. They're
No.
79th like in pressure rate, like that defensive line. They're like 79th in pressure rate, something like
Sure.
that. Yeah, like you said, Ty Simpson's been good. Do you get Florida State, Alabama, or do you get last 2 games, Alabama?
Right.
And this is going to be another one. Seriously, it's just such a great slate of games.
It is.
I don't know, man. Georgia's secondary got carved up by Tennessee too.
They did. And Tennessee's a good team. That much I don't doubt. I think they're a good squad. And they're going to build up over the course of the season. They're going to rack up some wins. And I mean, largely the only reason Tennessee didn't win that game was because their poor kicker got deer in the headlights at the end of the game. Whew.
Yeah. Gosh, man, I don't know, man. Who are you
It's a
taking?
it's a tough matchup for me because I mean Alabama largely looked a lot more complete against Wisconsin, but then again anybody would because Wisconsin's kind of terrible right now.
Yeah, that win isn't impressive.
I mean, Ty Simpson threw like 12 straight completed passes or something like that, or maybe 13, 14. It was like a crazy stretch where he couldn't miss.
Yeah, that's tough to do against any defense.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I'm having a tough time with this matchup. Pretty close to a coin flip. Um, man, I don't know. This one's a toughie, but
I think this is an absolute slugfest, and
sure.
because it's between the hedges, I'll take Georgia.
And you know what? I'll go with you on that. Just because I think Athens will play a factor in this case. You got to think with the blackout, with everything else, Georgia is looking for it's time. It's time to kick Alabama off the perch, and if they're going to do it, they need to do it this weekend.
Absolutely. Next one, number 4 LSU at number 13 Ole Miss. Games in Oxford. Ole Miss is favored in this game.
And I think they're going to win pretty healthily. LSU's defense has not largely impressed me so far this season. And if I'm being completely intellectually honest, Ole Miss has looked like an absolute world beater. They took absolute care of a Tulane team that I thought was going to make things competitive for
Yeah,
them.
that was
Ole,
not a sneaky good game.
no, ended up being kind of a stomp. And, I think that's just attributed to the fact that I think Ole Miss is probably a pretty salty squad this year, and it's at home.
This is the best defense they're going to see all year. And honestly, LSU hadn't been able to run the ball.
No,
And I mean, that's when you're a one-dimensional offense
right.
against a proven coach, whether you like the guy or not. Lane Kiffin knows how to prepare for a game.
He does. And he has
Um,
before.
I mean, who is LSU beating, right?
A
Clemson
1-3 Clemson team
and a crappy Florida team.
and a terrible Florida team. Yeah. So what do you do?
It's do you believe in Garrett Nussmeier, basically?
Pretty much.
What
And
it comes down to. Can he keep up with Ole Miss's offense? I don't think he can.
I don't think you can either. I think Ole Miss wins, and I don't think it's anywhere close to that spread. I think they end up winning by a score or two.
All right, our game. Unranked Auburn comes to Kyle Field, number 9 Texas Aggies. Fighting Texas Aggie football team, 6.5-point favorites over Auburn.
Yep. And we largely highlighted what we need to see out of this team in our previous segment. I think we got to see our offense go out there and do their job, limit damage on the defensive side of the ball, create a little chaos, get after the quarterback. I'm thinking if you can get yourself 2-3 sacks, hell more if you can, but at this point, create a little chaos, get ahead early, force turnovers, rely on your fan base to go out there and make some noise for you. Encourage participation by doing your job on the field. Lean
Yeah,
in.
I mean, there's no doubt that while Kyle Field can be loud, it's a different decibel level when you're playing well. That's why I love sacks at home.
Yes.
That's one of my, when you can, especially like you get Cassius Howell reeling off 3 straight sacks. Like, it's just bonkers.
Oh yeah.
Look, Auburn struggle in the secondary, and we are, like I said, explosive play you. I think that plays a massive factor in this game. I also think that we still haven't seen Bethel Roman, and I know they're going to want to key on Kraber, and then they're going to realize that by keying on Kraber, Concepcion's going to be open, and they're going to. Then you have Bethel Roman, you have Bussy.
Yep.
And I do think that if they decide to stack the box, we'll start beating them over the top. And once they have to unstack the box, then we'll start pounding the rock.
And I can live with that. I want to see some offensive diversity in this game. I want to see, I think that's a big factor. I mean, we've seen the pass game. We know the pass game's good. We know we've had some questionable throws that probably should have been picked, but we've largely hadn't happened yet. So
I want to see some slip screens. I want to see tight ends involved, which Klein has done great involving the tight ends this year. Obviously, the tight end won us the game, and the other tight end caught a massive pass on that final drive.
Well, and all of that coming off of potentially having the game-ending penalty in that kickoff. And he gets the encouragement. He comes back in. He does contribute on the drive, gets key blocks, even gets a catch or two. I love the fact that Theo got involved on that final drive. That was awesome. And you saw that everybody rallied around each other to get it done. So I'm so happy for that.
So you're taking the Ags?
Ags.
All right. Yep. Both of us taking Ags.
Gig 'em.
Big shocker.
Big shocker. This week, it's no question. The next 3 games need to be A&M, so it's going to be picks for me for A&M because I think they're going to win these games. I think they win all 3.
Yeah, I'm with you on
It's
that.
not going to be pretty the whole time, but I think we win all 3 games.
Well, and Florida's the 3rd, right?
Yeah.
So it could be. And looking forward, just real quick before we get into questions, if we do 3 in a row, having Florida in the situation that they're in, you want to talk about building momentum before you hit the road.
Yep.
That Florida game could be really lopsided.
It could be.
Talk about really taking some momentum on the road. So, anyways, go
And
ahead. Let's get.
quick sidebar, just as a fun little, so uniform announcements and things, all that
Uh,
fun jazz, right? So two special home uniforms coming up over the next several games. Auburn's gonna be standard. Don't know what we're wearing, but it's gonna be some combination of what we normally wear.
what, tomorrow? Today? I can't remember when they
It
do.
should be probably tomorrow. And if I was a betting boy, just with the contrast to Auburn, we'll probably go maroon, white.
Yeah.
Yep,
Like,
standard. Industry standard. Game two against Mississippi State is a night game. That is the blackout game. So if you are planning on going to Mississippi State, be prepared to wear some darker colors because everybody
I
else
patch
should
red.
be.
I
Yeah,
patch red for it.
I patch red one if you got one. And then the next game against Florida has some fun little history about it. I highlighted this on X the other day, but talking about our throwback uniforms. This is the 1975 Southwest Conference co-champs, which was a weird deal because that was a three-way tie for the winner of the Southwest Conference that year, and A&M made it all the way up to number two before losing to Arkansas in the last game of the season with a chance to potentially win the national title. But you're talking about a classic look that many people do understand and love. White helmet, maroon jersey with the stripes on the sleeve that we ended up reapplying in 2012. I'm excited about it. It's a cool looking jersey. I went and checked them out. The retail ones in store, they're really nice.
Florida, Florida need to do their part and wear their throwbacks.
That's exactly what I'm saying. So that was the 76 season. The next year, same uniform set. We play against Florida in the Sun Bowl, and we wore that strip. Florida wore pretty much what they normally wear, but they had the old UF on the helmet as opposed to the script Gators. Come on, Florida, for the love of God, let's make a throwback game out of this. Come on, it would be fun. You know it's fun. I know it's fun. I understand that this is Nike versus Adidas, but or I guess Air Jordan versus Adidas, but somebody figure it out. Just, it's a sticker. That's all you have to do. You don't have to do anything else with the jersey. Just change the sticker. I'm a simple man with simple pleasures, and you know what that is? Throwback uniforms against each other. I love that stuff. Uniform nerd stuff. Let's get into questions.
Yep, fire away.
Okay, Jonna fired this one out, and I think it's a very important talking point this week. I assume it's already in the discussion notes, but your thoughts on the permanent opponents, what's on the menu this weekend, and way too early baseball thoughts. We can probably ignore it if we're out of season. That's what she asked.
Yeah, I'm not worried about baseball right now.
Fair enough.
You're in fall ball, great. It's kind of like,
See what happens.
spring football. You're like, whatever.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, but
Everybody looks great, right?
we can hope so. So,
first
permanent
question,
opponents.
yeah. So we got the SIPs, LSU, and Missouri.
Yep.
The one thing I do like is that third opponent will be rotating every 4 years. So really, at least that's what I've heard. So the
Yeah.
first two are really your permanent, and then your third is the rotation.
Which I like because
I love
their
it.
dynamics change from year to year. I mean, all you have to look at, I mean, let's take A&M baseball as an example. Throughout the 2010s, who would you argue was A&M's biggest rival in baseball? And guess what? It wasn't Texas.
Your TCU.
It was TCU. TCU was a big back and forth throughout that entire decade. So, but we moved on into the 2020s now. It's really not much of a game anymore. There's not so much of that back and forth. And you have A&M and Arkansas, and I know a lot of people were having kind of similar thoughts on that because ironically Arkansas has the exact same three opponents. And you're talking about the Southwest Conference, the Southwest Classic taking place. So, I mean, that was an established rivalry game in the conference, and that's been thrown to the side. Why? Because Arkansas hasn't been competitive in it.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the issue, but what you'll see is with Mizzou and what they're building with their program, that's going to be a salty squad for the next 4 years. And I like the fact that they will rotate that game. So you'll see teams like, we'll start seeing guys like Arkansas get back into the mix. Hell, they might throw Oklahoma in there. It could be a number of teams. But
I'm just sick to play Missouri.
right.
But as long as they rotate the third, I really don't care.
Right. You got the two that you wanted, right?
I love I love how LSU fans are in an uproar. Like, we've never really been rivals. Oh, we were because we played every year and it was a competitive series. And once we started beating that ass, you guys took your ball and went home.
Right. They have a very, very limited memory on this stuff. But I mean,
Yeah.
throughout the 80s and going into the 90s, A&M owned that series until until they took the ball and went home after 95.
Well,
So
I thought that was a game that was one of those kind of set recurring non-conference games that I think was it's kind of one of those that it's good for football kind of thing. Like it's a
right,
rivalry that exists outside of conference. I think there were a lot of eyes on that game that weren't Aggies or LSU Tigers.
right.
They can complain all they want to. I think they just don't want.
But regardless of what people say, the rivalry absolutely got rekindled in 2018. There was no question about that. After seven overtime, that was a big deal, and then the series has been even since. I
Yeah.
mean, it's home away, home away. Whoever's winning that home is going to win. So naturally, we get stacked with LSU in back-to-back road years because that makes sense. But whatever, I'm not too worried about it. I like the fact that we're going to rotate Texas and LSU home and away every year. I can live with that. I think
Absolutely.
that's a good thing. Overall, not a lot of complaints about our pairing. I would have liked to have seen Arkansas in that spot as opposed to Mizzou, but on that same token, don't hate it. I would prefer, honestly, weirdly enough, it'd been funny if we got South Carolina. I mean, we have a trophy, damn it.
I'm sick of playing them too. Uh,
No, they were sick of us too. They were like, please just give us some traditional East opponents. They got it. Cool.
yeah. Boy, Tennessee got away with it, didn't they? They got Kentucky and Vandy as two of their three.
Although, like I said, that might, depending on how things continue at Vandy, who knows?
I don't think it's sustainable at Vandy, but
Probably not, but one can hope, right? Now, anything on the menu this weekend?
I have not decided that yet. I have no
Okay,
idea.
no problem.
It's Wednesday. It's a little early.
Yeah, it's a little early for that. Okay. Yeah, Jonna did mention that. What was the other? I know we had another question. There we go. So Jive Coach G did ask, and this one ties back to a certain firing that took place this week. With the dismissal of Mike, I'm a man, Gundy, is there a place for tenured college football coaches anymore? Maybe just Iowa. Surely NIL and more business savvy ADs are going to hold a shorter leash on coaches in the years to come. Thoughts?
It comes down to your expectations for your program. Like
Sure.
Iowa's a great one because Iowa doesn't ever expect to win the national championship. I don't think they expect to win the Big Ten championship. That's not the expectation for Iowa football. It just kind of that's how it is. So I think you can see in Power Four conferences those schools that don't quite take it as seriously, it's kind of the Bill Byrne manage your expectations crap.
Right.
I think there's still a place for it, but it'll be at programs that I mean, think about some of the programs in the Big Ten, right? Like Rutgers.
Yeah.
I mean, you coach there,
Maryland.
yeah, you coach there for 20 years, man. It's not, it's the expectations of the program combined with do they really excel in another sport?
Right. And that's the other key issue, right? I mean, if you look at a team like Kentucky, I mean, yeah, you got what, Mike Stoops over there still. And yet, on that same token, what's largely their big draw? It's gonna be
Yeah,
basketball, right?
yeah.
That's all they
And
really care about.
like Iowa, they care about what? Wrestling? That's what they excel at.
Basketball's solid most of the time for them, but yeah,
It's
football is one of those. You know what you're getting with Iowa football: goofy scores and a ton of defense,
yeah. It's I think it just
special
has
teams.
it's school priorities. And
Hmm.
we're in the lens and in the conference where football is king. But even then, we have a couple schools like Kentucky is perfect example
Yeah.
that I mean they care a lot more about basketball than they do football.
Well, and all
Not
you gotta do is look at Vanderbilt for baseball.
yeah,
Yeah, they're in a. I mean, they're established.
yeah. So it's there are still tiny little pockets I think that'll occur, but obviously like you said with NIL, it has leveled the playing field, so it has brought more schools into the fray that
Yep.
can have these like these hopes of winning conference championships. And if you win a conference championship as a P4, you are in the playoffs. There's no discussion about it.
Right.
So I think there's more schools and programs that have kind of now come into the conversation of,
Right.
hey, if we always had some boosters, and now that it's legal, do we think we can sustain some sort of NIL program? And if they can, then that changes the expectations, which then
Right.
changes the ability of a coach to either meet those expectations or get canned.
Right. All right, so got that going. Um, Next question for you. This is from Garrett Smith. He sent this one on Instagram. Said, "Will Arkansas and Florida have interim head coaches by the time we play them?" And two, are A&M, Tech, and Houston the best three teams in Texas right now?
All right, so let's start with Arkansas and Florida. Um, hold on, I got to pull up Florida's schedule.
Sure. Them Gators.
Let's
Yeah.
see here. So they got the Sips, and then they got us. Well, I mean, I don't think Texas can beat them bad enough for them to fire Billy Napier.
No. Well, that's a sneaky, interesting game to me because Florida's defense has shown that they can be pretty solid. It's in the swamp.
It's just can the Florida offense produce anything against the Texas offense?
Well, yeah, it's their defense.
Florida's defense is the only thing that's kept them in games.
Right. And they've largely looked inept offensively. They played really well against Miami last week. That was something that I thought was really, really interesting to keep up with, up until once again late in the game, right? It's 13-7 heading to the fourth quarter. And then you allow 13 points, and largely Miami rolled away. Similar situation to what you saw with Tech and Utah.
Yeah,
You know,
but if you say, Miami scored late to pull away and they scored 26 points, then you're saying Florida's defense is pretty much on the same level as Notre Dame's.
yeah,
So,
they're
and
solid.
again, Notre Dame's defense, I don't think we still know, if they're good or not,
Right.
honestly. Um,
Arkansas, though, I mean, we'll see
I
what
don't think
happens.
I don't think it'll be an interim coach. I think Bobby Petrino will take over as head coach and they'll sign him to a contract. So
Right.
Arkansas, I could definitely see. Florida, I mean, unless they get their absolute doors blown off by Texas.
Which
Um,
I
and
don't
if they
think they
do,
will.
if they do, then they're 1-4 with embarrassing losses. And
Right.
that narrative changes real quick and Napier's gone.
Right.
But they've
And to
only got
think and to think all of this started with a shoe throw. Hard to believe, isn't it? Like I watched a video on this on YouTube the other day. It said, "Was the Florida shoe throw really that bad?" And they
Yeah.
started with 2024 and worked their way back. Honestly, they could start in 2025 and work their way back. And all came down to that inflection point. The moment that happened, their entire program tanked. It's insane.
Well, they're on
One
a
shoot.
bye this week, so
One shoot.
they're on a bye. They've got a week to prepare for Texas. It'll be interesting to see. That's going to be a game that I'll keep my eye on.
I'm excited for it. I mean, I'm looking forward to watching that game just because I want to see defensively what happens.
Yeah, I don't. I just Florida's offense is so terrible.
Yeah.
But since they only have one more game, again, unless he gets his doors blown off, we'll see Billy Napier at Kyle, which is fine by me.
Yeah, it's
What
fine.
was the other part of the question?
So are A&M, Tech, and Houston the best three teams in Texas right now?
Well, I know A&M and Tech are definitely in the conversation.
And I don't blame you for throwing Houston in the conversation. The Cougs have looked largely pretty solid under Connor Wegman. He's done a great job there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe put Texas and Cougar High on the field. Who wins?
Right. I mean, that's
That'd be a game I'd like to see.
I love that game. I think that would be a
Is,
fun game.
is Houston ranked?
I don't think they are, but we can
I,
take a peek at their upcoming
I
schedule.
think you probably have to say Texas just because of their defense.
Right.
Their defense
I
is
would say so.
yeah. I think it's us Tech and the Sips.
So looking ahead, right, Houston's got their next two matchups are at Oregon State. I expect them to win that game.
Yeah,
Then they host Texas Tech in Houston.
that's going to be must see TV.
That is,
Wait, so they're on the road at Oregon State?
they're on the road at Oregon State. Houston is, and then they will host Texas Tech. So I think I mean, you're talking about two undefeated teams. This could decide the conference early.
Yeah, especially if Houston could go up to Corvallis and really put one on them.
Yeah.
Put one on them and kind of a no doubter type win. There's a lot of confidence rolling into a Tech game, and if nothing else, you want to talk about must see TV, man. A Texas Tech and Cougar High like rolling high and stomping people.
Yeah.
That's go back to the run and shoot days, man.
I
It might
mean,
be 60 to 70.
1976, they actually, it was funny when I was doing my research about the A&M Florida connection with the uniforms, with the Sun Bowl. That same year, there was another co-champ of the Southwest Conference situation, but this time it was between Tech and Houston. So Another fun little connection there.
Madness.
Hey, history's fun. I love history. It's good times. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the big stuff I had going on this week. We're heading up to Nebraska tomorrow. That's why we're recording today and getting uploaded. I am heading on out into the world to go play some shows up that direction. So I'll be right outside of Omaha, catching up on that A&M game against Auburn. We'll see how it goes.
Fun, fun.
Yeah, should be a good time. But quick announcement: we do have our new single, "The Burnout," coming out not this Friday, next Friday. I will once again remind y'all as we get a little bit closer to that, when as we're getting ready to post everything for that. But if you go to our social media, if you go to @CarsonJeffrey on Instagram, I'm running the Instagram and the Facebook and TikTok for show posts now. So come catch us up, catch up with us on those stuff. If you guys see some dates you want to look out for, we posted our calendar for October. We've got a bunch of good shows coming up, both in Texas and outside of the state. So plenty of opportunities to come see us, come play. Be sure to follow us on our social medias. That's going to be at RoyMay15 on X, Junior on Instagram, Rob the Slapper on both, and as well as the Red Ass Podcast. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, leave a comment. Let us know what you guys are wanting to hear from us going forward. I know we're looking forward to continuing to roll on this season. It's always good when you're winning. So let's just keep that ball
Yeah.
rolling.
Yeah. Winning cures all.
Winning absolutely does cure all, folks. So I am Rob White. This is Roy May. We are the Red Ass Podcast. Thank y'all. Beat the ever living hell out of Auburn. We will see you guys next time. Gig 'em.
Yeah.